Namaste, Galactic Family of Light. Welcome back to my channel, Indigo Angel. Today I have an Orion Collective Message and Transcendence energy reading for Orion Starseeds, which I am calling Draco's Alignment. So stick around if you want to know why I'm calling it that. This message is for indigos, crystals, rainbows, and original angelic human grail lines associated with Betelgeuse, Rigel, Bellatrix, which is Gamma Orion, Mintaka, Alnitak, Alnilam, Safe, Draco, maybe a little Castor Pollux, all stargates of the Orion Gemini constellation. For those resonating with this Orion solar electromagnetic radial light in the body, vibrating within the scalar wave frequency bands of this soul genetic expression. Each soul genetic expression representing density levels within your own internal microevolution and quantum computing gene brains. I like to call starseed expressions gene brains. Essentially, I look at them as like these quantum computing gene brains, like all collecting information and kind of like coming to a point to the actual brain and guiding one's response factors. And this is done unconsciously for the most part. And then this is what this journey is about, is waking up to be able to identify the responses, the genetic responses, and how these genetic responses are actually guiding the destiny from the harmonic resonance of the radial light of the source origin. So it's really intricate and it's really detailed. But this is why I just kind of like to call it quantum computing gene brains. And if you're not sure what I mean when I say this, I did create a video, a Lyran Syrian video that I recently put out discussing gene brains. So if you'd like to refer to that to get a better idea of what I mean by that. But essentially, this is for those awakened to multidimensionality and ascension codes in the 12 to 48 strand DNA configurations of the original angelic human templates. Those that are drawn to understanding deeper hidden knowledge and truths within the eternal realms of cosmic consciousness, eternal life spirals and spirits, and galactic human history, which can get a little crazy and shifty and bizarre because nothing here in the galactic quantum realms is linear, limited, visible to the unattuned senses, in lack, in separation, or resistance. Although intruder lineages of the Orion constellation have predominantly overridden planetary Merkaba spins and planetary quantum, and have formed the leagues and coalitions of the resistance on the planet, which ultimately I feel there are wormholes in the Orion constellation, which has gave way for interstellar universal seedings of metagalactic invasions, which I have a lot more to say about this, honestly. I was discussing the galactic center at 27 degrees Sagittarius with a dear friend, astrologer, Starseed Zodiacs on Facebook, and came to the realization that Draco sits at 27 degrees Gemini, which would make Draco at 180 degrees equal opposite to the galactic alignment. And so this is why I'm calling this reading Draco's alignment, because this actually gives Draco an advantage in the seedings of the race morphogenetic field of the planet. We also have the Great Attractor that's at 14 degrees Sagittarius. So this puts basically the entire constellation of Orion in place of supreme influential power advantage and dominion of Earth, as they are technically like north and south nodes to one another. So when they align with the north and south poles of the Earth, there is, like this wave infusion of seedings into the planet's spheres of Amenti or the race morphogenetic field. And even if you look at the stars that are 180 degrees to the Orion constellation, such as the tail of the Scorpius, Antares, Cause Australis, these are all profound war gods, Mars connections, birthing galactic crystal seed forms of consciousness that gave way for the power to rise, the power to destroy. These gates essentially invigorate the innermost cores of one's being, and they can be harsh, sharp, and dreadful. And those carrying multiple placements of these stars are essentially our boots on the ground. These are our warriors in battle, slaying darkness, transmuting and transforming duality realities individually and collectively. And they also represent higher counts of Illuminati gene codes and governments, and all of this resistance. And it's in this resistance is going to show one, essentially the dimensions that they hold inside, and where internal tuning or turning towards the emotions within needs attention, awareness, forgiveness, acceptance, and compassion. Everything in multidimensional existence is rhythmic, spiral, tonal, vibrational, emotional, spiritual, with conscious focus of wholeness, healing, keeping the body's vibration up, and anchoring in future timelines. All of this inter-universal stellar starseed stuff is based on etheric, astral, planetary, and cosmic energy mechanics, what those holding higher counts of Illuminati gene codes would call pseudosciences and insanity, irrelevant, or incomprehensible. The concepts cannot be conceptualized due to the inability to activate beyond the 10th densities. Those carrying a Black Sun agenda or a Belial Sun agenda, which I have spoke about the Sun agendas in my previous Orion videos, so if you'd like more information on that, please refer to that, and I'll leave a card at the top with a link, so just go ahead and look up. But this is why I love Orion Soul Genetics, is because of the diverse hybridization within the constellation and Council incarnates on Earth. Right now, Orion holds the largest collective on Earth as it dominates a large portion of the sky and celestial segments in tropical and Vedic astrology. I would honestly say that about 60 to 70% of all starseed origin charts I convert have Orion clearly in the chart. So you will resonate as Orion if you are anywhere from 23 degrees to, 23 degrees 20 Taurus to 28 degrees Gemini, which would be, Betelgeuse would be right there, would be the last stargate before you move into Sirius. Also 23 degrees Scorpio through 20 degrees Sagittarius, because I'm including that 180 degree equal opposite, because I do feel that the Stargate metagalactic core consciousness expression is felt in its entirety in the 180 degree equal opposite position. So I feel like we're experiencing it simultaneously, north and south nodes essentially. So it's a very vast range, and don't worry if you have Orion, because there are many who hold Orion gene codes of the original Orions and the alliances of the Guardian Councils of Mintaka, which the Council of Mintaka is a part of the 12 gates of the Guardian Alliance, and they're connected to the original angelic humans, the original Orions, the Emerald Covenant lineages from Orion that are basically standing on guard in protection from the Association of Planets of Orion. So with these digressive DNA templates, which I like to call them master regulatory genes, because essentially what they do is these Illuminati gene codes are so strong. They're so profound. They're so embedded in the lineages that they essentially block the ability of full biological transmutation out of time. So there's limited embodiment of higher dimensional consciousness. And then they also prevent other genetic expressions. So they are the master regulatory genes, and they prevent the other expressions. So let's say you have like a higher count of Illuminati gene code, you have a higher count of Anunnaki, you have a higher count of Draconian, you have a higher count of Nibiruan, or whatever, fallen seraphim hybrids, gray zetas, whatever. That genetic expression is going to override any other genetic expression in the body. This is an unconscious thing that is happening deep underneath the psyches and the spheres of the mind. And essentially it overrides that expression. So everyone holds different aspects of crystal seed forms of consciousness within them, and different resonances and different harmonizations and different lineages, because we are a cloister of multiple different foundations and races, which I'm going to get into here more. But what I'm trying to say is that it essentially overrides that expression. So it's like, it's not that it's not there, it's just that they're incapable of responding with that genetic expression unconsciously. So it's a very vast range, and don't worry if you have Orion, because there are many who hold Orion gene codes of the original Orions and the alliances of the guardian councils of Mintaka. Like I said, I'd say Betelgeuse, Bellatrix, Gamma Orion, Mintaka are all relatively true, genuine Orion energy signatures of the original Orions. And in truth, on a deeper level, everyone on the planet has either Melchizedek Anunnaki, Seraphim Draconian, Andromedan Necromatite, or Nibirian gene codes in the DNA. Most enlightened beings, and those truly on the ascension path, come to a place of acceptance of their lineages and origins. We are truly hybrids of 22 plus founder lineages, malevolent and benevolent, within our own genetics. I see a lot of beings nowadays expressing their right to be reptilian and be proud about it. To be Anunnaki and be proud, to be Nephilim and be proud. There's a lot of people expressing this on YouTube right now. I mean, there's people that I follow that have channels literally based on talking about being reptilian. And these digressive quote-unquote intruder lineages essentially mated and seeded over millions of years with the original Tyrannosaurian angelic human prototypes. The Tyrannosaurian prototypes being the fourth dimensional human whose souls incarnated from Tara. Tara being the next higher harmonic universe of Earth, densities 4 through 6, aligned to the counterclockwise Merkaba spins of the antiparticle universe, which then brings the awareness into the fourth dimension. But all of that essentially is a rabbit hole in itself, and getting into explaining that, you know what I mean? I don't want to confuse people too much, because I feel like I'm probably already confusing people by the way I talk in the first place. So this really comes down to this magnificent masterpiece of these royalty genetic hybridizations of 22 plus race grail lines, 7 root races, 5 cloister genetics and proteins, the protein bodies being of feline, avian, mantis, insectoids, cetacean, hominoid, I think like ox. These are the proteins, and these proteins also align to the stargates as well. So you can think of starseed origins as epigenetic expressions or DNA crystal seed form firing codons that activate memory from the race morphogenetic field that overlay the Cathara grids. The Cathara grids being the molecular structures within the bones and the teeth that are ultimately returned back into Earth for decomposition and return of all of the knowledge of being human. So the separation from the bones is what holds the dissolution of the amnesia, also from the Kundalini and serpent energy, as it's the gateway to the underworld or the realms of birth, death, sex, regeneration, incarnation that reside in the base of the spine. Okay, so this Orion Transcendence reading is for the 10th lunar Mayan tone, the planetary moon of manifestation. So a lot of emergence energy coming out of this last full moon as planetary quantum is aligning to the metagalactic core of Andromeda. Interstellar crystal spirals of the ascending spiral galaxy. And the universe presents this to me by aligning me to many who actually have Andromeda in their starseed birth charts. So it's really fascinating to me how when we come upon these alignments, all of a sudden I'll pull like 5 starseed origin charts and they'll all be Andromeda origins. So it's like, bam, Andromeda alignment is here. So the proof to me is just profound, really. So we're going to be going through these Andromeda alignments until May 3rd. And we also have Arcturian alignments, April 16th through the 18th. So that will be coming up soon too. But I do feel like I did just connect with Arcturian energy the other day. And here's the thing about it. We essentially connect to all the stargates. This is one thing I've been finding as I do readings more and more is I'm shifting from archetypal expression from one stargate to another within like one conversation. So I'll feel the essence and the energy of, you know, Draco present, or Rigel present, or Regulus, or Aldebaran, or Formalhaut, or, you know, whichever stargate kind of comes up. But you start to recognize the galactic energy signature, and you can even hear and feel the tones within a conversation with somebody. It's almost like I hear stargates in people's voices, honestly. So on the top row, we're going to have the higher self messages, the oversoul messages, and the galactic messages. On the bottom row, we're going to have the human messages, and we'll break that up into the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual. So in your physical reality, Orion Starseed, you're basically coming into a pause before the next big cycle begins. So something has come to a completion, and something has come into fruition, and something has come into fulfillment. And so you're being very strategic in this moment. There is a lot of connection to Saturn, so there's a lot of connection to the Oversoul. This channel is very open. So Orion Starseed, you are feeling that connection, and you are starting to integrate higher aspects of the Oversoul. You're developing this through mental mastery, and you're developing this through being able to basically be diverse in your thinking and be more diverse in your ability to cultivate new aspects of yourself. And so I see you kind of coming into this culmination point of events, and you're kind of starting to take ownership of your physical reality. You're either wanting to expand into a new realm of opportunities as far as your work, your home, living situation, relationships, ready to make changes because you're starting to see more possibilities. Okay, so the Oversoul is trying to come through. I'm sensing a lot of lunar energy, and I'm sensing a lot of Libra energy. And I'm not just saying that because we came out of the Libra full moon, but there is a connection there. I'm also picking up on Arcturus, so the Boots constellation. Basically what they're trying to say is in the physical, you've been locked in these arguments between people, and both sides are very rigid. Both sides are locked in battle, and so there's been little room for forgiveness. Basically, the Oversoul, the higher self, and Arcturus, this frequency is coming through and is basically saying that to work on this aspect, to work on the forgiveness piece. Because there is a lot of subconscious worrying and depression that's kind of coming from this entanglement, from being locked in this battle with this other being. And ultimately, I think that this is a battle within. This is a battle of dualism within yourself. It's almost like the light and the dark are equally battling each other within for the opportunity. It's like you gain a little momentum in the light, but then you're shut right back down by the dark. Gain a little momentum by the light, shut back down by the dark. And you keep going back and forth in this like merge convector inside of yourself. And you're basically neither aspect of you is achieving attainment or achieving completion. But I'm also picking up on another Stargate. So Zanaya, so there's also a lot, whatever direction you're going in this world card position, is there's a lot of interest in education and social success. And this is kind of like where you are getting a lot of pleasure. Like you are a person who likes to gather information, and you like to be a teacher. You like to be one exploring and cultivating new ideas. And so there is a lot of positive here as well. And I think that's where you probably need to start focusing the attention. And it's all about directing the attention. So in the world card here, you see this lady like dancing with multiple arms here, and she has like a Shiva vibe. This is all about mental mastery. This is all about mastering the aspects of the mind so you can direct the focus and attention in any way that you want it to go, because you are the manifestors of your destiny. And so we have to really remember that everything that we are accumulating vibrationally inside is going to manifest in the physical world. As this multidimensional being, it's all about navigating attention and where that attention goes. And so as I see you here with the Two of Swords, and you're just like slaying the light and dark, you're kind of going back and forth within yourself, reattaining that conscious focus and awareness so you can keep the attention in the direction that you're trying to go. So if you're trying to stop canceling yourself out all the time, the attention and the focus has to be redirected. The King of Swords is all about dominion and security and justice and severity and coldness, the way that they present their energy. Orions can be a little rough around the edges in the sense that they are serving the collective in the shadow. So in your mental aspect, you're drawn to exposing the ruthless and the scoundrels and the villains. You have this Robin Hood quality. You know, our predominant Orion soul genetics are our whistleblowers. Because they're the closest to these galactic invasions and intruder deals. So they have these keen senses to lies and manipulation and foul play and deceptions. You know, they are survivors. So they essentially can come off as protective and cold and guarded and hard to penetrate their inner layers. So just be aware of that in the mental aspect, just because there's a lot of air energy. It's a double air, very, very mental. And accessing these etheric realms, these astral realms, planetary realms, galactic realms, starseed realms, metagalactic core portals, this is about opening your heart, okay? So this is about expanding the heart chakra, the heart consciousness. Heart consciousness expansion is what's going to actually connect you to all there is in the universe. So getting out of the mind, so that way we can integrate these cosmic energies. On the galactic level, on the oversoul level, I have the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands is a lot of earth energy. It's a lot of water energy. You're going to have some uncertainties. You're ready to take action, but you're just not quite ready yet. And the oversoul is essentially, I'm picking up on Archangel Michael. So Archangel Michael is the angel of repentance, the angel of patience, the angel of guardianship, the angel of protector, warrior spirit. So this really does align to this Orion energy reading. Basically, it's just presented that your guardians, your protectors, your angels and light beings are with you in thought. They are with you in your mental mind. This is about opening the heart more. I'm sensing there's more heart chakra that needs to be activated, awakened, opened. So on an emotional level, there has been some negligence. There has been some failure to take responsibility for your situation, but it might not be completely your fault. I am picking up on some ailments. I'm picking up on some injuries to the face, possibly. I'm also picking up on the stargates Aldebaran and Alcyon. In your human reality, there has been a lot of deception. There's been a lot of things that you've maybe possibly been blind to on an emotional level. You're not seeing the emotional manipulation that's playing out on a psychic level between your entanglements. You're kind of oblivious to this because you're kind of caught up in your own emotions. You're caught up in your own mental space. You're caught up in your own injustices, and you're caught up in your own dualistic battle inside of your mind because you spend a lot of time in the mind analyzing and dissecting all of these forms of information. So you hold strong opinions. So you're not necessarily seeing the emotional, psychic warfare that's actually playing out and guiding and kind of driving your reality unconsciously. Okay, so with this Ten of Pentacles, I'm picking up on somebody that possibly married into money. And then there's past life connections here. So somebody married into money because they helped out a family member in a past life, in a place of prosperity when it comes to the financial aspect, because it is tied to the emotional body. On an emotional level, have been a person who is essentially like a vessel, and you have held something for others to carry. You have solid foundations in the emotional level. You're just not aware to the manipulation that's kind of playing out, like I said, on a psychic level. Somebody married into money, and someone might be resonating with this right now. It's probably not going to resonate for everybody, but somebody here has had a past life where they were indebted into service into a previous family. And so in this lifetime, they actually got to marry into that family, and they're having a lot of prosperity on many levels, strong financial security. But overall, I am picking up that the overall Orion soul genetic is struggling financially, that there are mostly hardships when it comes to finances. But there are a few of you that are listening right now that are doing very, very well prosperously, very strong financial securities. But overall, as Orion soul genetic, you are a huge foundational piece for a lot of people around you. Like I said, you're like a vessel that's holding something for somebody else to carry. And you're kind of presenting this energy signature wherever you go. On a spiritual level, I have the King of Cups. So that's a lot of fire energy. That's a lot of water energy. I see you kind of arriving at a point spiritually where you're like starting to emerge. You're starting to open up. You're starting to express. You're starting to conquest, should I say, into these new territories. Like I said, you carry that intermediary energy. There's also a lot of feminine energy. There's a lot of water and fire, so very passionate, very spiritual. Also on a human level, I'm picking up on some infidelity. I'm picking up on, this just comes in. So if you don't resonate with this, throw it out. But I feel like I'm connecting to energy signatures that are actually watching the reading. And I'm like, it's like individual energy signatures that present. And so I just throw it out there. If it doesn't resonate, then toss it. But on a human level, I would say that you repress a lot of those emotions from these situations. There's a lot of repressing of emotions is what I keep picking up. And it's creating spiritual blockages. All of that repression is keeping you from embodying multidimensionality aspects of yourself in wholeness, in completion. On a higher self level, we have the Hanged Man. Spiritually, you are in suspense. Spiritually, you are sacrificing. Spiritually, you are going through transformations and transitions, and you are flexible, but there is this rebirthing process that's kind of happening within you right now. I don't want to say dark night of the soul, but there's definitely some Orions that are probably dealing with that on a spiritual level, that they're unable to transcend into the spiritual realms because the density is so heavy on the emotional body and extremely heavy on the mental body. There's this longing and this desire to integrate the spiritual aspects. You know there's there, but right now there's like a void that's kind of in the way. You're kind of trapped and you're kind of in suspension and you're kind of just waiting for this energy to clear. And there are a lot of conscious energy exercises and things that you can do to clear this energy faster, because nothing is forever. Everything is temporary. All of this is what emotion is. It's a constant evolvement and it's a constant movement of energy within, and it flows and it goes. We don't want it to get stuck. We want to keep our energy bodies open. We want to keep our eternal crystal energetic spirals open to integrate this life source energy. So any type of mental repression, emotional repression, physical repression, denial of your truth, denial of what your heart's truly telling you need to do and not listening to that is a repression. So it's basically saying that's what needs to be identified and that's what needs to be acknowledged embodied, liberated. So all we have to do is just go within and surrender to the truest heartbeat within, and miracles will occur. Miracles will transform and transcend. Okay, Orion Starseed, I hope that you enjoyed these messages today. I hope that this assisted with transcending interdimensional slavery, moving the Orion warrior into the light. Namaste, Orion Starseed. I'm wishing you the best of everything and have a beautiful, wonderful day. Satnam.